What was
Yeah.
your initial reaction as Verstappen and
Uh,
Perez both went out in about 10 minutes?
so I try to, so there's like basically I'm bipolar when I watch Formula One. Part of me is like huge Max fan. I like Red Bull. I like Sergio. But then the other part of me is the unbiased fan and I was hardcore going for Ferrari at the same time. So a Ferrari 1-2 was like really, really fucking awesome to me. I was so excited for them, but it was just, that was so painful. Like knowing that it was over, like I was like, okay, he may lose a place or two, but then when they all just started passing him, I was like, son of a bitch. But then my sister and my girlfriend can vouch for me. I was like, okay, they're fine. They got Sergio. He'll get podium. And then he was
So
like,
fast.
I'm losing power. I was like, I screamed, no, like at the top of my lungs. I was so like just distraught. But it wasn't like, like actual, I was just like so into it. And it was like so just somehow already more dramatic than last season.
Yeah,
Like
it's just insane.
unbelievable.
Like I think you could tell my like emotions were bubbling because if you just look at like I was live tweeting the race harder soft F1 on
At
Twitter. Follow
Yes.
at harder soft F1 on Twitter. Uh, but yeah, and then you can see at one point my tweets go from like normally written out tweets like normal, and then it just goes to all caps. Hey, at one point it's just every message is all caps. Like
Yep.
this is insane. Like, so I need to get your opinion on what you thought of aside from heartbreaking, just sort of like the thought process I'm going from we're gonna get probably second and fourth Red Bull to okay, Verstappen's out, but Perez can still get a podium to nothing. And then if you want to just wrap it all up into one nice tidy bow, your opinion before I give my opinion on Verstappen's radios today.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, he definitely seems to be a little more, I think his radios like last season were a little bit heated sometimes, but a lot of them were kind of funny
Yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah, he was really bitching today. Like I won't even lie. I The only time I would have maybe agreed with him is when they told him to do a slow out lap, which
Okay.
even I mean, that makes me think maybe they knew there was an issue long before he did because they didn't
Mm-hmm.
want him to push too hard, perhaps. Because, like he said, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered in the end, but if he had done a fast out lap, he could have been ahead of Leclerc when Leclerc exited the pits, which could have changed the race if his engine hadn't have failed. So I have to agree with him, but again, the team could have known something was going wrong. So it's more of that I understand his reaction
Okay.
because he's I know he says he is going into the season with absolutely no pressure, all the weight's off his shoulders because he wants it just as bad again. He doesn't want to be just a one-time world champion. He wants it again just as bad as he probably did last season. So I chalk that up to sort of just like emotional. But yeah, some of his messages today were a little rough. I can't
So
lie.
so on the outlap thing, like I initially was like, oh yeah, I can totally see his point. There was on the broadcast, the guy he didn't do a great job of explaining it really. He didn't really give the splits very well, but he did mention that like he went through the times and like those were like Max's fastest laps. So it's like I don't know how much faster Max could have actually gone and to make up the time that he was saying he would have needed to make up to get in first. On the broadcast, they were just saying that it didn't really add up. Like Max was wrong, is what they were saying, and
Right.
also like there was no way for him to factor in that their pit stop was I think 2 or 3 tenths faster than the Red Bulls, which sounds like nothing, but obviously that's a huge amount in the terms of
Yeah.
like catching up and passing. So I don't know. That was interesting to me, but it kind of given how it ended with him being the one that knew that the engine something was wrong with it. Yeah, I can't necessarily fault him for that. Um, but yeah, what before I talk on that, what did you think as you were watching things go from looking like a very good race for Red Bull to an absolute disaster for Red Bull? Because I have to say it was one of the harder things I've had to sit through and watch. Like it really hurt me, and I'm still just so sad.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's hard to even like put into words. I'm it's making me think that I'm going to be rooting for Ferrari a little bit more this season. Like I love Red Bull, but I like I've said in previous episodes, I also love Ferrari as well. So I'm not just a Red Bull boy. I'm a Ferrari fan as well. But it, it was a lot to process in the moment
Yeah.
because it happened so fast. And I was just so disappointed because we missed out on potentially another battle between those two, which could have been for some excellent racing. I do want to comment about Leclerc's racing because
Mhm.
I mean, I think if Max hadn't have had engine failure, it was a guaranteed P2.
Right.
Leclerc was winning this race. Like
100%.
this was Ferrari's weekend, but it ended with a Ferrari P or 1-2. Sorry, which I'm as hurt as I am about Red Bull. I'm equally as happy for Ferrari because I mean you can't write a better redemption. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing.
Yeah, I know for sure. And there, it also sets up a good storyline for Red Bull too. You know, they're
Yes.
gonna want to push back. Um, yeah,
Horner's already calling in Netflix. He's like,
uh,
get in here, get in here.
I one thing that I just how did they not cut to Horner after that? Like I needed for my soul after last year. I just needed to see an angry Christian Horner. I really did.
Yeah,
I
we
saw
didn't.
his
We saw nothing.
no, and he was usually so prevalent on like he was coming on every single broadcast last year mid race even,
Yep.
which like just anyways, but yeah, my on the Verstappen radios, pardon my language, what a little bitch. What a little bitch. I mean, just complaining. I'll give him credit. He was actually right. Like his something was wrong with the car.
Yeah.
But like the entire race before that, even just like everything that Sonoda was getting shit for last year for being like too kind of aggressive towards his radio guys and the negativity of a driver kind of having a negative vibe towards the team can do that. I mean, no Red Bull's different. I know Verstappen just won a title, but uh, that's not a guy I would want to be on a team with. Lewis Hamilton just such a better humanitarian. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyways, I won't go off that. I did, but no. In all seriousness, he was right, but it was just like a little much.
You're
But
absolutely
I
right.
hate Max though, so yeah, the
I,
drinks are kicking in. Mm-hmm.
that's fucking funny. No, I totally agree with you. He does if something goes wrong and it's even a little bit not his fault, he just turns into a dickhead towards the team. Like I will totally admit that. He plays the asshole very, very well. And I mean that's kind of what Red Bull have kind of set themselves up as. They're like,
Sure.
we're the assholes. We want to come in here and fuck shit up. We want to win.
Yeah, that's like the
And
Red Bull kind
yeah,
of like their brand too, like in general, you know.
part of me likes that, but then there's the Horner going too far and Helmut Marko, you know, saying the things that he says, and of course Max's antics. I can absolutely see why people are not Red Bull fans. Like, I'm not gonna die on that hill. You know, I totally acknowledge their faults. It's
Appreciate that.
absolutely, but it's sometimes it's just funny to me, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was like I was laughing. Like my brother came out for a few laps and he heard some of it, and he's not like a huge F1 fan. He's just kind of getting into it, but even he was laughing. Like it is funny.
It is.
It's objectively funny, but I think some people laugh for different reasons.
Mhm.
Just real quick before we tie that up, was did I miss it? Did we have an explanation for the Gasly fire?
I think from what the statement they said afterwards was that the two Red Bulls had some sort of fuel issue with the fuel line where they lost
Okay.
power. But I think Gasly, they're saying it's an electrical issue. They could all have the same problem though. Like who knows? Like maybe if they didn't drop power so suddenly, maybe they could have caught fire in the engine. Like who knows? But still, 3 out of 4 Red Bull engines having reliability issues is not a good sign for them.
No,
It's not. Yeah.
no,
Like
and like I said, the Mercedes engines aren't throughout the board. All their teams that they provide engines for not looking too great either. So Ferrari seemed to have just nailed everything and kind of had a bit of a gift in terms of the other teams not nailing
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
Again, that's going to be a time, like we'll see how long that lasts, because there's so much money and so much incentive to improve. Your Max and Lewis aren't going to sit there and accept that this just isn't their year. You know,
Yeah. No.
they're gonna do something to improve that.